You want to change? You want to rise? Let me tell you something, kid. Change ain't pretty. It's not some motivational garbage you hear on stage. It's war, ugly, brutal, and lonely. You want to become the nightmare they can't escape? You've got to kill the old you first. No mercy, no hesitation. You burn that version of yourself to the ground and watch the flames consume everything you used to be. Let's start with the truth. The hard, bitter truth. You are your biggest enemy. Not them. Not the ones who lied to you, betrayed you, or left you bleeding in the dirt. No, it's you. You're the one who let their words get inside your head, who let their actions define your worth. You're the one who sat there, paralyzed, while the world ripped you apart. You're the one who put up the white flag and surrendered before the fight even began. You see, people, they don't care about you. They care about what you can give them. Your time, your energy, your loyalty. And when they've sucked you dry, they toss you aside like yesterday's trash. That's the cycle. That's the reality. And the old you? That sucker believed in them, trusted them, loved them. That's why the old you has to die. You want to know why they'll hate the new you? Because the new you won't need them. The new you won't beg for their validation, won't chase after their approval like a starving dog. The new you will be untouchable, untamed, unapologetic, and that terrifies them. People fear what they can't control, and the new you will be chaos, wrapped in human skin. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine this. You wake up one day, and everything you once cared about is gone. Every relationship, every attachment, every dream. Poof, like it never existed. What's left? You. Just you. Now that's the moment most people break. They cry, scream, blame the world, but not you. No. You take that emptiness, that void, and you make it your weapon. You think strength comes from happiness? From love? No. Strength is forged in pain. It's built in the nights you lie awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering why the hell you're still breathing. It's born in the moments you want to give up, but don't. Every scar, every heartbreak, it's all fuel. You take that fire, and you let it burn so bright it blinds everyone who doubted you. Here's the thing, though. Destroying the old you, it's not just about cutting ties or walking away. It's about breaking every habit, every thought, every belief that kept you chained. It's about rewiring your brain piece by piece until the person staring back at you in the mirror is a stranger. Take trust, for example. The old you gave it away like candy on Halloween, didn't you? Handed it out to anyone with a smile and a kind word. And what did that get you? Betrayal. So the new you? Trust no one, not a single soul. Because trust is a weakness, a weapon they'll use to gut you when you least expect it. And let's talk about kindness. The old you thought kindness was strength. It's not. Kindness is a leash. They'll tighten around your neck. The new you, be ruthless. Be cold. Kindness is for those who have something to lose. And the new you has nothing. Nothing but the will to survive, to dominate, to make them regret every second they underestimated you. You think I'm being harsh? Good. Life is harsh. Reality doesn't care about your feelings. The world will chew you up and spit you out if you let it. But here's the thing. They can only destroy you if you let them. If you let their words get inside your head, if you let their actions define your worth, so don't let them. Build walls so high they can't even see the top. Become so strong, so unshakable, that their attempts to break you bounce off like raindrops on steel. You've got to be the storm, kid. The hurricane that tears through everything in its path. And when they come crawling back, because they will, mark my words, they'll find nothing. No trace of the person they thought they could control. No sign of the old you they once knew. Just a shadow, a ghost, a nightmare. They'll never escape. Here's the last thing I'll tell you. Change isn't a one-time thing. It's a battle you fight every single day. It's waking up and choosing to be better, stronger, harder. It's refusing to let the old you creep back in. It's looking in the mirror and saying, not today, not ever. So destroy the old you. Rip it apart, piece by piece. Let the new you rise from the ashes, darker, stronger, unstoppable. Be the nightmare they can't wake up from. And when they look at you, when they see what you become, they'll regret every second they underestimated you. Because the new you isn't just a survivor. The new you is a force of nature. Destroy the old you, kid. Trust me. It's the only way. This is your story now. The ending? That's up to you. The thing about the old you, it clings like a shadow. It lurks behind every corner, whispering lies in your ear. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. Go back to who you were. That's the old you talking, trying to pull you back into the pit. But you can't listen. You don't have the luxury of listening anymore. You have to silence that voice, no matter what it takes. Drown it out with the sound of your own strength. Shatter it with the weight of your determination. Because that voice, that version of you, it's comfortable. It's safe, it's predictable. And that's exactly why it has to go. Let me tell you a story. There was a man once, someone just like you, weak, broken, lost. He spent years trying to please everyone, bending over backward to fit their mold. And for what? So they could pat him on the back and throw him scraps of approval? Pathetic. But one day, he snapped. He looked around and realized he was standing in the middle of his own prison, a cage he built with his own hands. So he destroyed it. Piece by piece, he tore down everything he thought he was, every belief, every habit, every attachment. And when the dust settled, he was unrecognizable, stronger, colder, untouchable. People didn't know what to do with him. The ones who used to mock him, silent. The ones who doubted him, terrified. He became their worst nightmare. And you know what the best part was? He didn't do it for them. He didn't do it to prove them wrong or make them regret what they did. No, he did it for himself, for the man staring back at him in the mirror. Because at the end of the day, that's the only person who matters. Not them, not their opinions. Just you. You've got to do the same, kid. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, is this who I want to be? Is this who I'm willing to die as? If the answer is no, then you know what you have to do. You have to burn it all down. Every lie you've ever told yourself, every excuse, every piece of yourself that's holding you back. Let's talk about pain for a second. Real pain, not the kind you cry about on social media, hoping someone will feel sorry for you. I'm talking about the kind that rips you apart from the inside, that leaves you gasping for air in the dead of night, the kind that makes you question if it's even worth going on. That pain, that's your greatest weapon. Most people run from pain. They numb it, bury it, pretend it doesn't exist, but not you. You're going to embrace it. You're going to let it mold you, shape you, turn you into something they can't even recognize, because pain doesn't break you. It reveals you. It strips away all the nonsense, all the lies, and shows you what you're really made of. Think about the people who hurt you, the ones who betrayed you, abandoned you, left you bleeding. They didn't care about your pain, did they? No. They watched you suffer and turn their backs. And now you're supposed to rise above it? Be the bigger person? Forget about what they did? Hell no. You don't rise above it. You rise because of it. You take every ounce of that pain, every moment of humiliation, and you use it as fuel. You let it drive you, push you, until you're standing so far above them, they can't even see you anymore. And when they look up at you, when they see what you've become, they'll know they were the ones who created their own nightmare. They'll know they were the ones who pushed you too far. Here's another hard truth for you. Nobody's coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not some magical guardian angel. It's just you, alone. And that's the best thing that could ever happen to you. Because when you stop waiting for someone to rescue you, you realize you had the power all along. It's not about being saved. It's about saving yourself. It's about picking yourself up off the ground, dusting off the blood and dirt, and saying, I've got this. It's about becoming so self-reliant, so unbreakable, that nothing and no one can ever take you down again. You want examples? Fine. Look at the world's most successful people, the ones who clawed their way to the top. You think they got there by being nice? By playing fair? By waiting for someone to hand them a break? No. They got there because they were relentless. Because they were willing to do whatever it took, no matter how painful, no matter how lonely. That's the mindset you need. Relentless, ruthless, unstoppable. You don't stop when you're tired, you stop when you're done. You don't wait for opportunities, you create them. And you don't let anyone or anything stand in your way. Here's your mantra, kid. Repeat it every day until it's burned into your soul. Destroy the old me. Build the new me. Be their nightmare. Say it when you wake up. Say it when you go to bed. Say it every time you feel like giving up. Because this isn't just a transformation. It's a revolution. And revolutions, they're messy. They're violent. But in the end, they're worth it. Because the new you will be unstoppable. So what are you waiting for? Start the fire. Burn the old you to the ground. And let the new you rise from the ashes, stronger, darker, and more powerful than ever. The choice is yours, kid. Stay the same and let them keep walking all over you, or destroy the old you and become their worst nightmare. Go ahead, kid. Show them what a nightmare really looks like. And let me tell you, kid, nightmares don't apologize. They don't explain themselves. And they sure as hell don't care about the comfort of others. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them answers. And you sure don't owe them forgiveness. Let them wonder. Let them lie awake at night trying to figure out where they went wrong. Let their guilt consume them. But you move forward. You rise higher. You let their regret fuel your fire. Every time they see you, every time they hear your name, let it remind them of what they lost, what they destroyed, what they'll never have again. Because the new you, you're not just a person, you're a reckoning. Now I know what you're thinking. What if I fail? What if I can't do it? And that, my dear friend, is exactly why the old you has to die. The old you is weak. The old you is scared. The old you is drowning in self-doubt and insecurities. Failure? That's not even a word in the new you's vocabulary, because the new you doesn't see failure as an end. The new you sees it as a stepping stone, a lesson, a necessary part of the process. Every time you fall, you get back up. Every time you stumble, you learn. And every time they think they've got you down for good, you rise stronger than ever. Let's talk about emotions for a second. You know those messy little things that cloud your judgment and make you weak? The old you let emotions run the show. Anger, sadness, fear, they ruled you like a tyrant. But the new you is in control. Don't get me wrong, emotions have their place. Anger can be a weapon if you know how to wield it. Sadness can be a reminder of what you've lost, a motivator to never let it happen again. Fear can keep you sharp, keep you alive, but you have to be the one holding the reins. You have to be the master of your emotions, not their slave. You ever see a snake shed its skin? It's a slow, painful process. The old skin clings, fights to stay, but eventually the snake emerges, shiny and new. That's what you're doing, shedding the old you. But unlike the snake, you're not just leaving the old you behind. You're obliterating it, making sure there's nothing left to come crawling back. And yeah, it's going to hurt. Change always does. It's going to feel like you're ripping yourself apart from the inside out. But that pain, that's proof you're growing. That's proof you're becoming something more, something stronger. Now here's the kicker. The old you, it's not just going to lie down and die. It's going to fight. It's going to whisper in your ear, telling you to go back to what's familiar, what's comfortable. It's going to remind you of all the reasons you stayed the same for so long. But you can't listen. You can't give in. Because the old you is a liar. It'll tell you that you're not strong enough, not smart enough, not good enough. And every time it does, you've got to push back harder. You've got to prove it wrong. Think of it like a battle. You versus the old you. And let me tell you, kid, it's not going to be a fair fight. The old you knows all your weaknesses, all your fears, all your doubts. It's going to use them against you. But here's the thing. The old you doesn't know the new you. It doesn't know what you're capable of. It doesn't know the fire that's burning inside you, ready to consume everything in its path. So, you fight. You fight like hell. And you don't stop until the old you is nothing more than a distant memory. And once the old you is gone, that's when the real work begins. Because the new you doesn't just show up. The new you has to be built, brick by brick, piece by piece. It's a process, and it's not going to happen overnight. But every step you take, every change you make, is a step closer to becoming the nightmare they can't escape, the person they'll regret crossing for the rest of their lives. Here's a little secret for you, kid. The world loves to see you fail. They love to watch you struggle. It makes them feel better about their own pathetic lives. But the moment you start winning, the moment you start rising, that's when the knives come out. They'll try to tear you down, discredit you, make you doubt yourself. But you don't let them. You keep pushing forward, keep proving them wrong, until the only thing they can do is sit back and watch in awe. And when you finally get to the top, when you've become everything they said you couldn't be. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget the pain, the struggles, the battles. Let it remind you of what it took to get here. Let it keep you sharp, keep you hungry, keep you dangerous. Because the moment you get comfortable, the moment you let your guard down, that's when they'll strike. That's when they'll try to pull you back down. So, kid, what's it going to be? Are you going to let the old you keep you chained? Or are you going to destroy it, rise from the ashes, and become the nightmare they'll never forget? The choice is yours. But let me warn you, once you start down this path, there's no going back. Once you destroy the old you, the new you will be unstoppable. And that kind of power, it's addictive, it's dangerous, but it's also your birthright. So what are you waiting for, kid? Light the match, burn it all down, and show them what a real nightmare looks like. You still standing there? Still hesitating? I get it. You're scared. Scared of what happens next. Scared of what you'll become. But let me ask you something. What's scarier, kid? Staying the same pathetic version of yourself, letting them walk all over you for the rest of your life, or becoming the monster that makes them regret ever crossing you? Fear is natural, it's human, but fear isn't your enemy. Fear is a compass. It points you to the things that matter most. And right now, your fear is pointing you toward the truth. You're not ready to let go of the old you. Not yet. But you will be. Because one day, you'll wake up, and the weight of staying the same will be heavier than the fear of changing. One day, you'll realize that the pain of transformation is nothing compared to the pain of regret. Let's get real for a second. You think the old you is worth saving? Look at what it's brought you. Failure, heartache, betrayal. You've been carrying it like dead weight, dragging it around like some kind of badge of honor. But it's not honor, kid. It's weakness. The old you clings to the past, to the people who hurt you, to the dreams that died a long time ago. It's time to cut those chains. Let them go. And if that means losing a part of yourself, so be it. Because what you're losing isn't worth keeping. I know what you're thinking. But if I let go, who will I be? Let me tell you, kid, you'll be whoever the hell you decide to be. That's the beauty of destroying the old you. It leaves you with a blank slate, a clean canvas. You get to rebuild yourself from the ground up. Want to be strong? Then be strong. Want to be fearless? Then stop letting fear dictate your choices. Want to be untouchable? Then stop giving people access to your soul. It's not complicated. It's not easy, but it's simple. You decide who you are, and then you become it. No excuses. No apologies. Here's a little secret about people, kid. They don't like change. They don't like it when you grow. when you evolve, when you outgrow them. It scares them, because when you change, it forces them to confront the fact that they're staying the same. And that's why they'll fight you. That's why they'll try to pull you back down. They'll use every trick in the book: guilt, manipulation, anger, to keep you in your place. But you can't let them win. You've got to rise above their noise, their lies, their petty little games. You've got to be stronger than their words, harder than their hate, colder than their betrayal. Let me give you an example. Think about a phoenix. You know, that mythical bird that burns itself to ashes and then rises again, stronger and more beautiful than ever. That's you, kid. But here's the thing about the phoenix. It doesn't rise until it's burned itself completely. No half measures, no shortcuts. It doesn't hold on to the old feathers, the old wings. It destroys itself entirely before it can become something new. You've got to do the same. Burn it all down. Every piece of the old you. The doubts, the fears, the insecurities, the need for validation, the craving for approval. Let it all go. And when there's nothing left but ashes, that's when you'll rise. And don't think for a second that this is the end of the pain. Oh no, kid. The pain doesn't stop when you destroy the old you. It follows you, whispers in your ear, tries to pull you back. But the difference is, the new you doesn't run from it. The new you uses it. Pain becomes your teacher, your motivator, your fuel. Every time you feel it, you let it remind you of what you've been through, of what you've survived. You let it push you to keep going, to keep rising, to keep proving them wrong. And when they see you, when they see what you've become, they'll try to rewrite history. They'll tell you they always believed in you, that they always knew you had it in you. Don't believe them. They're lying. Because the truth is, they never believed in you. They never thought you'd make it. They were waiting for you to fail, to fall, to crawl back to them begging for forgiveness. But you didn't. You rose. You became everything they feared you could be. And now they have to live with the consequences of their actions. So here's my advice, kid. Don't waste your time on revenge. Don't waste your energy trying to make them pay. The best revenge is living well. The best revenge is becoming so damn successful, so damn untouchable, that their opinions, their judgments, their lies, they don't matter anymore. Let your success be the knife that cuts them. Let your strength be the fire that burns them. Let your existence be the nightmare they can't escape. But remember this, you're not doing this for them. You're not doing this to prove them wrong. You're doing this for you, for the person you've always wanted to be, for the life you've always dreamed of living, because at the end of the day, it's not about them. It's about you, your strength, your power, your transformation. Destroy the old you, kid. Burn it to the ground and let the new you rise, stronger, darker, unstoppable. And when they see you, when they finally realize what you've become, they'll wish they had never underestimated you. They'll wish they had never crossed you. But by then, it'll be too late, because you'll be their nightmare. Most people hesitate when they stand on the edge of something life-altering. That's where you are now, kid. Right on the precipice of the old and the new. One step forward, and you burn it all down. One step back, and you stay the same. But let me warn you, staying the same is worse than dying. It's a slow rot, a suffocation, a life lived on repeat. Every day feels like yesterday. Every failure piles on top of the last. And every time you think about breaking free, that little voice in your head tells you, not today, maybe tomorrow. Guess what, kid? Tomorrow is a lie. You see, the world isn't built for people like us. The ones who think too much, feel too much, want too much. It's built for the sheep, the followers, the ones who are content to live mediocre lives and call it happiness. They don't want you to rise. They don't want you to change. Why? Because your growth threatens their comfort. Your success shines a spotlight on their failures. And your transformation, it terrifies them, because it reminds them of what they could be, but will never have the guts to become. Let me tell you a little secret about people, kid. Most of them are asleep, walking through life in a daze, blind to their potential, deaf to the truth. They follow the rules, stay in their lane, do what they're told. And for what? A paycheck? A pat on the back? A coffin 6 feet under? Just like the rest of them? But you're awake now. You've seen the cracks in the system, the lies they feed you, the way they keep you small. And now that you're awake, you can't go back. You can't unsee it. That's what scares them. You're awake, and they're not. And they know that if you rise, you'll leave them behind. Here's the thing about leaving people behind, though. It's not personal. It's survival. You can't drag everyone with you to the top. Some people are meant to stay where they are. Some people will cling to you, pull you down, hold you back. You've got to let them go, kid. Even if it hurts. Even if they beg you to stay. Because the people who really matter, the ones who truly care, they won't need you to stay. They'll rise with you. And the rest? Well, they were never worth it to begin with. You ever hear the phrase, kill your darlings? It's a writer's term, but it applies to life too. It means letting go of the things you love most when they no longer serve you. The old you, that's your darling. The version of yourself you've clung to for so long, even though it's been dragging you down. You've got to kill it. Not just let it go. Kill it. Destroy it so completely that there's no going back. And it's not just about the old you either. It's about everything tied to it. the toxic relationships, the dead-end jobs, the bad habits, the excuses. They've all got to go. You know what's funny, kid? People think destruction is a bad thing. They hear the word destroy, and they picture chaos, ruin, loss. But destruction is just another word for creation. When you destroy the old, you're not losing anything. You're making space for growth, for strength, for something new. You're tearing down the walls so you can build something better. Think of it like a forest fire. It looks devastating, sure, but those flames clear away the dead wood, the rot, the decay. They make room for new life to grow. That's what you're doing, burning away the old so the new can thrive. And don't think for a second that it's going to be easy. Oh no, kid. This is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. Because the old you is comfortable. It's familiar. It's safe. But safe doesn't win wars. Safe doesn't make nightmares. Safe keeps you stuck, spinning your wheels, going nowhere. You've got to get uncomfortable. You've got to face the things you've been running from, the truths you've been avoiding. You've got to dig deep, rip out the roots, and leave nothing behind. And when you do, oh, kid, the world won't know what hit it. The new you will be unstoppable, a force of nature, a storm that tears through everything in its path. They'll try to stop you. They'll throw everything they've got at you, doubt, fear, guilt, but it won't matter, because the new you won't just survive. The new you will thrive. And the best part? You'll do it all with a smile. Not because you're happy, but because you know something they don't. You know that every step you take, every move you make, brings you closer to becoming their worst nightmare. So, what's it going to be, kid? Are you ready to destroy the old you? Are you ready to rise, to burn, to become something they can't ignore? Because if you are, then it's time to stop hesitating. It's time to stop waiting. The match is in your hand. The fire is yours to start. Burn it all down, kid. Burn it down and let the new you rise from the ashes. And when they see you, when they realize what you've become, they'll wish they had never underestimated you. They'll wish they had never crossed you. But by then, it'll be too late. Because you'll be their nightmare.